brand new day. Today is Wednesday morning, and on behalf of the production team, I say good morning and welcome. Now, once you've been given today, there is a purpose. I always say this. There's every day a purpose for why you are alive, and so you need to identify that purpose and live it. So what is your purpose for today? Ask yourself that question. In prayer, in thanking God, asking God, what is the purpose for which you've given me today? And when you identify that, go out there and achieve it. Go out there, play your role, make sure that you're not being lazy. So you pray that, Father, bless me, and I thank you for all the things that you've given me. I thank you for life. But when you go out there, do not lazy around. Do your best. Work hard, and the blessings will follow. That's how you and I will make sure that this country progresses and we develop a world better than we met it. Well, this morning we'll start off with a news review, and political scientist and director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asante, is our guest. And then we'll bring you AM Sport. Muftar Nabila Abdullah will be bringing you that segment. What's the latest from the world of sports? Again, you know that Black Stars will be playing that crucial game tomorrow. What's the latest from the camp? We'll tell you that. And then we come to our big stories. Yesterday, we all woke up, we didn't wake up. We were wrapping up our day, and we had that big announcement from the former Minister for Trade, Alan Bawumia, that looking at the results that he got from the Superdelegate Conference of the party, and with some sort of, machinations that went on, trying to skew the process in favor of one candidate, he is withdrawing from the November 4 contest. We'll delve into that particular one. We're asking all the relevant questions here for you. This is not the first time that Mr. Alan Bawumia is taking such a decision. What does this mean for his political future? Now, also, the Office of the Special Prosecutor says it has complied with the High Court ruling directing it to return Cecilia Abinadaper's seized cash and unfreeze her bank account and investment. It has, however, seized the cash and frozen her account and investment again to aid it in investigating into how they were acquired. We'll delve into that matter as well. And then we'll discuss the Minority in Parliament's rescheduling of Occupy BOG protest. Our guest, Richard Achampon, MP for Bia East, and Echo Asifwa, MP for Old Tafo. Idris Hussein is lawyer and former MP for Tamale Central. He'll be joining us as well. Dr. John Osai Kwapong is a CDD fellow. We'll be marshalling all of them here on the show. And then we'll get into a conversation with Expert Pharmacy and how you can benefit from their amazing product. And that's how the show will be. Of course, we'll bring you the AM Business by Ketsi EcoBank. The Pan-African Bank will bring you AM Business. Today, we'll tell you why leading real estate company Elegant Homes is offering its customers 10% discount on all purchases made as we get ready for the EcoBank Joint Use Habitat Fair. Have your say. We'll come your way, of course. Join us with your thoughts on the issues that we'll be discussing via phone and social media. That's how the show will go for you. Well, it's a show with you in mind, so join us as we put Ghana first. On behalf of the wonderful team here, I say a welcome to the AM show. AM News is up next. Good morning and welcome to the AM News. Now, as Ghana grapples with pressing economic challenges, the spotlight has been intensified on the remuneration of Article 71 office holders. The President's comments on what we usually call ex gratia reflects the growing public discourse on whether the current compensation aligns with our constitutional imperatives and economic realities. Join us, Isaac Kofi Ajay has more in this report.
Newly inaugurated Emoluments Committee, actually chaired by Dr. Janet Fofie, to focus on recent concerns raised by the Ghanaian populace on whether or not Article 71 office holders are deserving of the ex gratia or monies and benefits paid to them as stipulated by the 1992 Constitution. The Emoluments Committee, chaired by Dr. Janet Fofie, will be at least the 7th Emoluments Committee whose work has always been to determine a thank you package and other remunerations for Article 71 office holders, including that of the President, his vice, ministers, and members of Parliament. Joy News checks revealed the total number of Article 71 office holders on Ghana's payroll in 2016 was around 500. According to the previous committee, chaired by Professor Ya Intiamu Abedu, they based on several factors, including the economic circumstance, the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda, public sentiment, political climate, amongst others, to recommend that the monthly salary of the president be increased from the over 29,000 cedis in 2016 to over 47,000 cedis in 2020. As of 2016, the average salary of an Article 71 office holder was 18,211 cedis, and that of a single spine salary worker was around 1,128 cedis. The difference was in excess of 17,000 cedis. The various presidential committees on emoluments of Article 71 office holders subsequent to the Chinwe Committee have been careful in maintaining a balance between the emoluments of Article 71 office holders and the rest of the public. For example, the Erama Adi Committee in 2011 introduced the upward point system, providing relativities between Article 71 office holders and other workers on the single spine salary structure. However, in the process of approving the various emoluments committee reports, the system is often disregarded, leading to the pay adjustment for Article 71 office holders that have worsened the inequalities. In simple terms, there have been significant upward reviews without recourse to the rigorous analysis that went into the proposals put together by the committees. In 2013, for instance, Article 71 office holders saw a collective increase of 43% in their salary, and for the remainder of the period covered by the Edu Buando Committee, the pay levels went up by 10% annually spanning 2014 and 2016. In the same periods, workers on the single spine were receiving wage awards below inflation, including a freeze on wage increase in 2014. They received a cost of living allowance known as COLA instead. The cumulative effect of these differential adjustments was that while Article 71 salaries saw increases, wages of workers on single spine, including nurses and teachers, experienced declines in real terms. This time, Labour will be watching and is likely to base their future demands depending on the recommendations made by the current Emoluments Committee chaired by Dr. Janet Fofie. Isaac Kofieje, Joy News.
Well, two other stories. Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has underscored government's posture in enabling the private sector in promoting the construction of housing facilities in the country. Ghana's housing deficit witnessed a 33% reduction from 2.8 million in 2010 to 1.8 million in 2021, partly attributable to the real estate boom and a 72.8% increase in residential structures within the period. By speaking at the commissioning of the State Housing Company Legacy Court, the Minister for Works and Housing highlighted the government's position in formulating policies only whilst assisting private developers in the construction of shelter for the Ghanaian populace. There is more in the following report.
Ghana's housing deficit witnessed a 33% reduction from 2.8 million in 2010 to 1.8 million in 2021, partly attributable to the boom in real estate and a 72.8% increase in residential structures within the period. Speaking at the commissioning of the State Housing Company Legacy Court, Francis Asenso-Boakye highlighted that government is going to be actively engaging the private sector moving forward.
Government is not interested in developing and selling. The government's interest is to offer support to the private sector so that the private sector can develop, can take the lead in housing construction. What the private sector lacks is the support from government, and that is what this government seeks to do by providing that support in the form of subsidies, by providing free unencumbered land, which is important because you know how land is very important in housing construction, and sometimes our land tenure system makes it difficult for people to access unencumbered land. But government is leveraging on public lands to do that. And one big important component of housing development is what we call horizontal infrastructure, which is the roads you see, the curbs, the drains, the sewage, electricity, water. Government is also leveraging on its traditional responsibility of infrastructure provision to make sure that the cost of housing will reduce, so that when the private sector comes in, already the cost has reduced, therefore it will translate into the reduced prices for the Ghanaian workers who are interested in owning their own homes. So that's exactly what you're doing.
However, Managing Director for State Housing Company, Kwabena Ampofo-Appiah, indicated that the construction of the 198 housing units in Adenta would serve as a building block for constructing other housing units nationwide, adding that the various housing units will target mid-income earners and revenue accrued from sales will be used to fund the construction of other housing units.
The concept of this estate was to serve as a support system for our affordable housing project. So for those of you who are aware, we have an affordable housing project under construction now in Pokuase and also in Koforidua and in other areas. So we built this to sort of target the mid-income earners, put a little bit of a premium on the pricing so that the revenues that we generate from such estates, we're able to push it to support the affordable housing initiative. That way the government does not need to come up with any money for our developments. This entire edifice that you see, we didn't take one city from the central government. It was all 100% funded by the deposits of the buyers and also through our own internally generated funds. By rolling it out that way, we're able to also support our affordable housing initiatives without necessarily relying on the government's support for money. We are focusing on the mid to low income sectors for now. So if we say we're talking about low income, we're talking about people who, lawyers, police officers, nurses, etc. Those whose income might not be able to, without support or subsidy, will not be able to buy a home on their own. I mean, our research shows that in Ghana, close to about 60% of the population will not be able to buy homes without some form of intervention from the government. So there are projects like the one in Pokuase, in Koforidua, and other areas. Those are the ones that we target. And we're able to do that because the government provides the off-site infrastructure, like the roads, electricity, and water. By so doing, we're able to save the cost and transfer those savings to the end user. This development that you see have zero government subsidy because at least we are targeting the mid-income area, so the government does not need to support them. So whatever that you see here, they are paying the full price plus the premium that I said that we use to support our affordable housing.
Well, Information Minister Kwapong has called for a strategic overhaul of Ghana's structures to ensure that the nation is equipped for a forward-looking future. Addressing the International Advertising Association's 6th Africa Rising Conference in Accra, Mr. Kwapong emphasized the critical need for Ghana to adopt innovative and adaptable structures, drawing parallels between the nation's evolution and the strategies employed by corporate brands navigating a changing landscape.
I want to start by thanking the IAA for the invitation to join you at this year's Africa Rising Conference. It marks my third engagement with you, and I'm deeply honored by your partnership. I also want to commend you for your commitment to thought leadership in this industry. It is evidence of your desire to grow the industry always, and I congratulate you for that. Your theme this year, as always, is thought thought-provoking: building future-ready brands. You have chosen this theme at a time when many nations, including our own, are facing challenges that have led to high levels of uncertainty. Economic turbulence, security instability, and growing intolerance are testing the resilience of products and services, organizations, and countries all around the world. Products and service brands of companies are dying faster, even as new ones are born through the disruption of innovation. It is in the midst of this turbulence and uncertainty that you are calling on us to reflect on the theme, building future-ready brands. Your theme challenges us to first introspect on our organizational brands, our client brands, the challenges, the opportunities, and the market dynamics of the future, and reflect on how we can reposition our brands for those future characteristics despite today's uncertainty. It's no easy challenge to overcome. But as our history as a species has taught us over the years, we have a unique ability to overcome the most severe of challenges if we put our best efforts, our best people, and our best resources to the task. In recent years, the world has overcome challenges that initially scared us all to death. I don't know how many of you recall when we used to sing the song, "By June, dear, na ubieu." To wit, by June, we'll all probably be dead. That was at the beginning of the COVID pandemic. But today we stand tall and strong, having overcome that scare, and I'm confident that we'll meet this challenge too. Let me begin by attempting to define the concepts at the heart of your discussion: brands, future readiness, and building. The theorists define a brand as a product or service that is distinguishable from another and easy to communicate. But practitioners prefer to argue that a brand is only a promise of performance. A brand is as good as what it evokes or promises in the heart or minds of the consumer once mention is made of it. Future readiness connotes the preparedness today to respond to the challenges, opportunities, and characteristics of tomorrow. The concept of building refers to the process of iterating and working to erect or to complete. So if you put it all together, your theme calls on us to examine how we can continuously iterate on the structures, offerings, and models of our operations today to prepare them to respond to the characteristics, challenges, and opportunities of the future, and how we are building the kind of institutions, products, and services that evoke a credible promise in the hearts and minds of our clients. A brand is not the form, the creative identity, or its colors and letters, as you know. It's the substance of what it delivers. In a contemporary context, brands are increasingly expected to uphold ethical and social responsibilities. And that is why at every point of interaction, a brand is expected to be a testament of unwavering dedication to performance. When we discuss building future-ready brands, we are fundamentally exploring the process of shaping our organizations, our services, our products, the organization of our clients and their products in a manner that enables them represent credible promises and consistently deliver significant value to their customers. So,
now, in an effort to minimize the high rate of graduate unemployment and ensure good leadership, the Emerging Public Leaders, EPL, has set a pace to ensure the development program of high-achieving young graduates who have demonstrated a clear interest in and in the commitment to transforming the public sector and policy influence in organizations. Speaking at the Thanksgiving service of the 5th anniversary of Emerging Public Leaders, Country Director Juliet Adime Amua says her outfit is committed to ensuring that there is change makers in our society. There is more in this report.
Public Leaders of Ghana is a 2-year fellowship that equips high-achieving university graduates with transferable leadership skills to effect change into the public sector and beyond. In light of this, an opportunity has been given to top-performing graduates in professionals to join the public service, which will help minimize graduate unemployment. Country Director of EPL Ghana, Juliet Adimi Amoa, revealed the fellowship does not seek to minimize graduate employment, but to ensure that cohorts from the Emerging Public Leaders Fellowships are groomed from their prime to be ready for the job market, to ensure they bring new ideas into the public sector and deliver on the expectations of the job market.
The short term, you see that impact in the lives of the young people that we have given job opportunities to. You see that impact in the way that they are growing and coming into their own and holding spaces that ordinarily by themselves they wouldn't be able to enter into. So that's the short-term impact. In the medium term, what we have seen across government sectors and across government ministries where we have placed these young people, you will start to see that they have started to bring in a new dimension of work and productivity. They've started to look at how do we do things more efficiently using the technology and the plethora of information that exists for young people. And overall, the energies that younger people have, the passions, the newer ideas that they have. So in the medium term, you find that that's what we're starting to see. In the long term, we are hoping that in the next decade, we will begin to see younger people who are in influential positions, directors, if you like, within the ministries, within public service organizations, who are not necessarily doing government work directly, but are in the parastatal environment and helping the agencies along. And so that's what we would like to see, and that's the kind of impact that we have started to see and have actually started to measure as well.
An alumnus of the EPL Fellowship, Irene Osei-Bonsu, stated how the fellowship has emerged as a beacon of change in her journey after school.
It's been life-changing. When I started, I was very meek and not confident at all. EPL's orientation program just resets my mindset and then made me more confident. And the continuous training and engagement with my other fellows and partners, mentors, has just changed my life. And I know I'm also making impact in the office that I am in.
A member of the fifth cohort, Lawrence Nikwe, revealed his expectations of being part of the leadership program.
I think what stood out for me is the word leaders at the end. Personally, I've always been driven to just make an impact that lives beyond me. And that has been the driving factor for me joining, just an organization where you get to have larger impact, or an impact that goes beyond yourself. And then also the idea of a fellowship, and not simply an organization where you just go, again, like I mentioned, where it's like a recruitment agency. So a fellowship where you get some training, you get to be part of a family, get to be part of a network of people that are also like-minded, trying to make an impact both in the country and then by extension in the rest of the world. And so that was the driving factor, those two things, that there's leadership element in there, and then there's the idea of a family community where you can learn from each other and then be able to implement whatever we learn.
It is expected that in the near future, the Emerging Public Leaders Fellowship will work more closely with civil servants, public service, parastatals, and civil society organizations. For Joy News, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
And that's all in our news this morning. There's more on myjoyonline.com. Up next is the news review. Stay on. All right, so welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to go into what the papers are reporting this morning. I have the Daily Graphic with me, the Daily Guide newspaper, the Finder, the Custodian, and the Ghanaian Publisher. And to help us review what these papers are reporting is Dr. Kwame Asante. He is a political scientist and a director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, good morning. Thanks for coming through.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm well. Let's start off with the daily graphic. The banner headline, Premix fuel system automated, move to check hoarding and ensure transparency. Alan Cheramanting withdraws from MPP presidential race. OSP freezes Cecilia Dape's accounts again. And at the back page, SHC inaugurate Adenta Legacy Estate. This infestation of black fly starts at Lankwantanan Municipality. Okay, right. So those are the stories there. Now, let's do the Premix Fuel story. It's written by Shelley Asiedu Addo and Francisca Eshen from Elmina. Now, the Premix Fuel management system has been automated to remove challenges, including corrupt practices associated with the sale and distribution of the product. Premix Fuel, which fishermen rely on for expeditions at sea and in rivers, will now have a modern technology to control how it is stored and dispensed, with a monitoring system to check hoarding and smuggling. The system is a comprehensive infrastructure of state-of-the-art technology, meticulously designed with dispensing control unit, fuel level sensors, electronic card utilization systems, as well as web and mobile applications that are expected to cause a major shift in the way the subsector is managed. It comes with the registration of all canoes, while special cards will be issued for Premix Fuel transactions at the automated point. The automated fuel system, equipped with smart card readers, will dispense to only biometric identification card bearing members of the public, especially fishers. The Vice President, Dr. Alan Bawumia, yesterday commissioned 3 automated premix dispensing and monitoring outlets at Elmina in the Central Region to symbolically mark the opening of the 50 facilities across the country. Doc, I mean, we've been talking about how to reduce human involvement in things like this. I guess this is a step in the right direction. But the question will be, how do we ensure that this system does not succumb to human interference?
I think it's a good one. I commend the Vice President and his team for bringing this out. Our fishermen have been struggling over the years, and one of their problems is the issue of fuel. And you and I know the whole story about it, where sometimes they run out of this, even though it is on the market. So I am happy that the government has listened to their cry, and then government is helping in this direction. But as you rightly pointed out, we need such a meaningful program to be sustained on daily basis. So it's my hope and prayer that the government will do the needful to make sure that this beautiful program is sustained to ensure its logical conclusion. It is important that it is not only the issue of mixed fuel that is of a problem to them. Marketing, how do they market their fish? It's a problem. Where people buy at lower prices and all that, they don't get anything. I myself am in the industry, and I know some of the challenges. So I know government is trying to do its best. They need to quicken the pace so as to make sure that this policy of government to ensure that people get fish at their backyard and all that will be a reality.
Marketing of fish is difficult now, huh?
Yeah, if you have a lot of them, who buys? They will come and buy at a very cheap price, and then you don't know where to sell and all that. It is a problem. I know people who have ponds in their homes, and when it's ready, they have nowhere to tend to. And then they go around, people come around and cheat them. And I speak on authority. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, anyway, let's do the, let me take you to page 16 and for us to do the Alan Cheramanting story. Now, a flag bearer hopeful, Alan John Kojo Cheramanting, has withdrawn from the November 4 presidential primary of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. citing intimidation and various acts of violence unleashed on his supporters in recent superdelegate conference. This is a reenactment of the 2007 Congress at the University of Ghana, Legon, during which Mr. Chairman voluntarily stepped down for his closest contender, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, after neither of them could pass the 50% required mark. This time, Mr. Chairman is withdrawing in protest. The recent superdelegate conference is his fourth attempt at the party's leadership. The first was in 2007, followed by 2010, and then 2014 adventures. In withdrawing from the upcoming election, Mr. Chairman said the incident and various acts of violence and collusion reported in other voting centers were appalling, unconscionable, and despicable. A statement by the former Trade and Industry Minister said, quote, "After having carefully analyzed the result of the said election, it is absolutely clear to me from events leading to, during and after the elections that the special delegate conference was strategically and tactically skewed in favor of one particular aspirant," unquote. Mr. Chairman recounted how his polling agent in Northeast region allegedly suffered severe damage to his eyesight, arising from his bold and courageous effort to ensure compliance with the rules and regulations for the conduct of the elections as approved by the Presidential Elections Committee of the party. Was it something you expected?
Not at. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this because all this while I thought that the man who has started this journey will end on a good note.
Okay.
But you and I have witnessed what has happened. But I am not surprised. Why am I saying this? This whole business of intimidation, harassment, and unequal playing field.
Okay.
We've had this problem long time, people complaining, and the party sat aloof as if nothing was a problem. They never talk about people who had already started campaign whilst the party had not given any green light to anybody. They sat down for all these things to happen, and then to crown it all is the brutalities, intimidation, harassment we saw during the day of election. These things do not augur well for a meaningful party such as the MPP. It is the least to be said about the party. This is a party which has gone through thick and thin, and it's a party that has risen above all manner of problems. So this should not be a problem, and I don't know why. The issue of an establishment candidate is becoming a reality in the party, and it seems to me that those are the top brass. The top brass within the party do not care a hoot about it. You see, when you build a party around personalities or individuals, you create a problem where people live in pain, and at the end of the day, they want to move out of the party. I am sure the NPP, from where they come from, have experienced all manner of pains, and that they don't want to repeat some of them. 1979 problems that they had is so fresh in the minds of everybody. So I thought that this would be a guiding principle for them. But we are seeing something different, right? If this thing continue, I will not be surprised to see that, yes, whoever emerged victorious will not get anybody to support him in campaign. That is something that we should expect if the status quo remains. It is my hope and prayer that the MPP will not chart this path, because it will lead them to destruction. Nothing more, nothing less.
What, because of one person's decision to withdraw from the party's contest? Is that not an overly extrapolation of the issue?
No. It is not the case that one person has resigned, or has withdrawn. You saw Bwachie Japo also complaining same. Have you thought about the teeming supporters of these people and how they feel? All these things break the rank within the party, and it creates all manner of unnecessary problem. I don't think that the party deserves this, and that is not what they bargained for. No, but if they want to allow this thing to exist, I'm afraid they will have their fingers bent.
Okay. So how do you expect the party to approach this development?
We use rules and regulation to govern the conduct of people within the party. Make sure that the rules work. Whoever has crossed the line must be sanctioned. Pure and simple. But if you want to do a kind of selective justice, you don't care a hoot about the complaints people are talking about, and that you are pursuing your program head on, I'm afraid you hit a snag. And at the end of the day, the results will be there for us. I think that the concerns that people have raised were raised out of genuine incident that occurred, which must be looked into, so that you reassure people that there are leaders who are ready to stem the tide whenever there are problems within the party. But if you don't want to handle these things, I'm afraid people will sit down unconcerned. And when you need them most, I tell you, that is where they will fail you. 2024 is so close, and I'm sure they have taken political notice and they will do the needful.
So the contest now, is between, I'm sure you being a political scientist yourself, you know that the contest now is between the vice president and Kennedy Japan. How does the withdrawal of Alan Chamanting, affect the chances of either of them?
Oh, certainly, the same conditions exist. Remember that at the super delegate conference level, there were different canons that were used to gauge them. Now you are going into the finals of finals, where you are going to elect a flag bearer. The person who is going to emerge victorious is going to be, advertised in Ghana for votes. So you are going to use the national standard of the economy. Who has managed the economy well? If the person has been given the opportunity, it will come. Issue of corruption. Who is capable of managing corruption in this country? If you have records, they will go into that. Who is capable of ensuring that the youth get employed in this country? It will pop up. Who has the political wherewithal to stand in face of difficult challenges and then be firm? We are talking about what? Competence and all that. Because people accuse this government that he had sacrificed competence for loyalty. So now you want to see somebody who is competent and will be able to deliver the public good. Of course, you also want to see who will be able to ensure that you get the maximum vote, and you are talking about popularity. And a host of other factors are going to be brought to the scene. So it's not that simple, and that these things will come up, and you need a careful study of the issues and be able to have answers and all that. In political communication, when we are developing messages and all that, we look at for your baggage, and then things that people will be said about you, and you develop antidote for that. All these things are going to play out effectively. So it's not that simple. People think that is a simple process. No, it is not. All these calculations will be factored in, and whoever will emerge victorious will face this type of music at the end of the day.
Okay, let's take you to the Daily Guide newspaper. Veep opens automated premix fuel system. Galamsey ban reducing carbon emission, according to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Alan withdraws from MPP race. SP refreezes Cecilia Dapa account. And Ghana needs reform spirit, NYA CEO. Now let's go to page 3. It says the Office of the Special Prosecutor has once again frozen the bank account of former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, Cecilia Dapa. The OSP indicated in a statement yesterday that it had complied with the August 31, 2023 ruling of an Accra High Court by unfreezing the account. The statement also indicated that the $2.73 million and $590,000 that officers of the OSP had seized at the Agbelempe residence of the former minister had been returned to her. But in a somewhat surprising turn of event, a statement signed by the Special Prosecutor Kissie Jabing states that the account have once again been frozen, and the money seized at a residence which were temporarily returned to her have also been seized as investigations into corruption and corruption-related offenses continue against her. Your thought on this? Okay, all right. So we'll try and get him back so we can wrap up with him. but let me do some of the stories on some of the front pages. Now, the Finder newspaper is reporting Alan quits flag bearer race, alleges intimidation and skewed process, premix fuel dispensing, monitoring automated. OSP returns DAPE's money and seized it again. And shareholders commend Access Bank's first half performance. Forestry Commission outlines Galamsey fight in Apamprama Forest Reserve. And Brand Ghana needs forward-looking structures upon Nkrumah says. Okay, so that is a story, but I'm interested in the Apamprama story, forest story. It says, the Forestry Commission says that it is working to curb illegal mining in the Apamprama Forest Reserve. As part of its attempt to stop illegal mining in the Forest Reserve, it has employed a range of strategies and interventions in this regard. The Commission says it has trained 964 frontline field officers with the help of the military to boost law enforcement. The strategies were outlined in a press release reacting to illegal mining activities in the Apamprama Forest Reserve. The Commission noted that as part of its effort to curb illegal mining in the Forest Reserve, it has procured 1,000 pump action guns to boost morale and capacity of frontline staff to protect the Forest Reserve. Really? In this country, sometimes that the people who are at the helm of affairs, what do they take us for? That we didn't know that some people were mining in the forest to that extent, and now it has taken us, after this distraction, to go and train some 964 frontline officers and purchase 1,000 pump action guns. Really? I mean, sometimes they should take us to be intelligent a little, because you don't sit there and assume you didn't hear excavators working in the Apamprama forest for that long, sat there and watched them to destroy the forest to that extent, and you're not telling us after a journalist had gone in there and brought out the revelations, and then you say you've gone in to train some 964 frontline officers. Really? After the fauna and the flora of the place have been destroyed in the manner they have? Forestry Commission. I mean, sometimes, just give us that opportunity that we also have sense more. Anyway, Dr. Kwame Asante is back with us. Doc, let's deal with one story from the Daily Guide newspaper. SP says he has refrozen Cecilia Abinadapa's account. Was it something you expected? How can this help us to get to the bottom of the issue about the missing cash and how they even came about it?
The commission thing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It is annoying to say the least. Why? We are in this country, and as if those who are engaged in these activities, they don't exist here. As if where these activities are taking place, police, Bureau of Investigation, and the rest of them do not exist. Why?
Right. We'll get Doc back on the line so that we can deal with these issues. Now back to the Forestry Commission story again. It says the Forestry Commission added that as part of curbing illegal mining, it has seized and decommissioned a number of equipment used for illegal mining in forest reserves. Quote, since January this year, 3 excavators have been seized and over 70 excavators, unspecified number of generators, water pumping machines and other mining equipment, and temporary wooden structures have been burnt within forest reserves, mainly in the Bekwai, Bibiani, Enchi, Dwaboso, and Takwa Forest District by the Forest Services Division with support of the RRTs. Now, quote, out of the number of burnt excavators, 12 were burnt in the Apamprama Forest Reserve, the release explained. The commission indicated that it has arrested and prosecuted illegal miners, both Ghanaians and foreigners, many of which have been convicted, while the trials of others are pending in various courts across the country. Anyway, Doc, it looks like the line today is really troubling, but we'll still manage. Yes. So
yeah, Mekojo, I am so surprised that Forestry Commission will come and give us this cock and bull story. I mean, to say the least. Why? We have given you work to do. Yeah. If you can do, get out and let people who can manage the forest to come and do the work. We are joking in this country.
Yeah.
We have, God has blessed us with all these arable lands, forests, to serve our purpose. And we have given this duty to an agency of state, handle it on our behalf, and out of which we are able to pay you and all that. This is all that you can. They should credit us with some level of intelligence and stop this thing. It's so annoying. I don't want to hear, I don't want to know. But look, these things should not be countenanced at all. We should be able to stand up and resist this thing through legal battles and all that. Because sometimes I get so angry about these things that the very things that we are committing now are going to be albatross around our necks very soon.
Yeah.
I can tell you, once you destroy the ecosystem, you are off. It doesn't matter, please. We are playing the ostrich as if nothing is happening. This galamsey business is a serious menace that we need to stand up and rise to the occasion and deal with it. Otherwise, it will consume all of us in no time.
What is really the issue? Is it an issue of incompetence or corruption such that the forestry officers are not able to get these illegal miners driven out of the forest? Or because they benefit, that's why they allow them to keep doing what they do?
It is a whole mix of facts associated with the system. I mean, so it's a web of corrupt activities going on there. Two, it is also lack of what? Capacity on the part of government. Government, regulatory capacity where they enforce law rigidly has been thrown to the dogs. And of course, government itself, some of its apparatchiks are also complicit in this. So the fight, I'm not sure we are going to win it because those who matter and they are supposed to be at the forefront of this fight are themselves complicit in this matter. And those who are not complicit look on unconcerned. How can we win such a fight? As if those who are engaged in these activities come from the moon, and as soon as we are looking for them, they disappear into thin air. It is not the case. But that we don't want to do. The wrong things that we do, we benefit from it. We don't care a hoot about
very, very difficult morning. But yes, that's Dr. Kwame Asante. He is director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Let me just read what I have and then we can wrap up here. Now, the custodian says Alan quits MPP 2024 race. Bawumia opens automated premix fuel stations. Brand Ghana must uphold ethical values upon Nkrumah says. RE Forest Under Siege and Prampama Forest Reserve. That's a response that comes with a picture of the Chief Executive for Forestry Commission, John Alote. Ghana Post wins Best Courier Service Award, and state grabs 1.4 million from road traffic offences. Oh, okay. And the Ghanaian publisher. Anyway, very shocking. Can we really win with this attitude? Okay. Let me just not waste time on the banner headline there. But let me bring you the details of the story from the state grabbing some 1.4 million from road traffic offences. Now, official information given to the custodian indicates that the state has raked in over 1.4 million cedis through the enforcement of road traffic regulations. Some 11 persons have also been sentenced to various jail terms with over 1.4 million cedis paid as spot fines into the state coffers for this year alone. Chief Superintendent Alexander Kweku Obeng, Director of Education, Research Training and the Project Coordinator for the Traffic Tech-GH initiative, who disclosed these at the Stakeholders Sensitization Forum in Tamale, said over 100,000 road traffic offenders have so far been convicted in court. He announced that the number of road crashes have declined compared to last year due to the rigorous campaign and police visibility on the major highways. Quote, now in terms of injuries, it has gone down because of police intervention, and all that about 9,000 Ghanaians are injured, some amputated, and deaths have also gone down compared to the same period from January to July last year. Quote, however, over 1,200 Ghanaians have been killed on our roads. One death is one too many, and that's why the Inspector General of Police and the Police Council will not accept this at all, and therefore more interventions are needed, unquote, he stated. Well, so that is the story from the custodian. Well, okay, let's do the publisher. It's already on the screen. It says Forestry Commission fires Joy FM, charges them to put issues in proper context. What context again? Okay, let me just do a bit of that story. It says that the Forestry Commission has responded to Joy FM's latest documentary on alleged illegal mining activities in the Apramprama Forest Reserve, which aired on Monday evening. While thanking the multimedia group for shining the light on the destruction of a portion of the Forest Reserve and an important watershed, it stated that the media outfit must, quote, put matters in proper perspective for the sake of the public, unquote. In a rejoinder, the Forestry Commission stated that it believes such documentaries help draw attention to grave national issues that public support is urgently required to address. So what is the proper perspective that the Forestry Commission is talking about? Hasn't there been illegal mining in Apramprama Forest? I'm sure they will say yes, there has been. Haven't there been distractions? Didn't the Forestry Commission look on for the distraction to occur? Because when you are working with excavators, they make loud noise. So are we being told that the Forestry Commission did not hear when the noise started and they sat on for those large space to be destroyed? What is the perspective again? I mean, sometimes, like I said earlier, the Forestry Commission should take all of us to be intelligent enough, not to be telling us all the things that they are saying. What is the proper perspective again here? That a journalist goes in there to report on what you failed to do, and you are telling us that we should put it in proper perspective. What perspectives again? That we saw in the video, it wasn't as though they were concocted. These are visuals that we can all see on our screens. So Forestry Commission should go ahead and deal with the issue and stop asking the media house, which has done its required duty of highlighting, this very despicable activity by illegal miners. Of course, you supervise it because you sat there and watch on for that to happen. And then now you're coming to tell the media house that they have to put the issues in perspective. So which perspective again? I mean, sometimes, look, these are the visuals on your screen, these ones. So if you're a Ghanaian and you watch this, do you require the Forestry Commission to come and tell you that the media house should put this in perspective? What perspective again? After we've witnessed the sort of destruction that have gone on in a forest reserve, and as we speak, it is happening in a lot of forest reserves. Look at this. I mean, you watch this, and the Forestry Commission is telling us to do what? What perspective again? You sat there for this to happen. I mean, what I've seen will be more than 10 football fields. Look at this land that I'm seeing on the screen. And then the Forestry Commission is sitting in the office and telling us to put it into what perspective? Again, this distraction that we are witnessing on the TV, on our screens. And the Forestry Commission is telling us what perspective? There's no perspectives to be drawn here. What is left to be done is Forestry Commission to do the right thing. I mean, we've mentioned names of companies that mined in there. And there are individuals who are CEOs, who are owners of these companies. Can the Forestry Commission go after them and then make sure that they pay for what they've done and rather stop telling us to put these issues into perspective? There is no perspective than to ensure that the destroyed environment are restored. Can we even restore them in the same natural habitat that God created them? It cannot be done. We can try our best, but we cannot. Anyway, let's end it here. This AM Sports is up next with Muftau Abdullah Nabila. There's the latest from the camp of the Black Stars. So do stay on and get all of that here on the AM Show.
Good morning. Let's do sports now on the AM show with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. The Black Stars arrived in Kumasi on Tuesday to continue preparations for the final game of the African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Central Africa Republic. Media reports emerging from that, and that has been confirmed by the Ghana Football Association that Joseph Pinso has pulled out of the game due to an injury. And also, Jordan Ayew sat out of the training session that happened at Baba Yara Sports Stadium on Tuesday evening because he arrived late. My colleague Stephen Zando has the rest in the following report.
So the Black Stars of Ghana have finally arrived in Kumasi, and of course on Thursday, the Black Stars will be playing Central African Republic in the 2023 AFCON qualifier. This will be the last game for the qualifiers, and Ghana needs to avoid a defeat to qualify for the tournament that will be staged in Ivory Coast next year. Now, yesterday, the Stars ended, the day with 23 players. But the good news for Ghanaians is that Richard Ofori and Jordan Ayew have joined their teammates, and of course, they were part of the players that arrived in Kumasi. Unfortunately, Jordan Ayew could not be part of today's training session that was held at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. And according to my checks, the coach decided to take some precautionary measure because the player did not arrive on time in camp. So tomorrow, he'll be part of the player that will be training ahead of the crucial encounter on Thursday. The training session was held behind closed doors, and then of course the team, the players were taking through a lot of tactical works. They worked on set pieces, shooting, and what have you. It is expected that tomorrow the training session will be open to the media for the first 15 minutes, where pressmen will be allowed inside the Baba Yara Sports Stadium to cover the first 15 minutes of the session, after which the coach will go through the tactical works with the players once again before the game on Thursday here at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium at exactly 4 p.m. Reporting from the Baba Yara Sports Stadium for Joy Sports, Steve Zando.
Now to the Black Moments, they are also preparing for the Paris Olympics qualifiers that will be happening in Dakar, Senegal. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, paid them a visit and has charged them to fly high the flag of the country when they get to Dakar for the competition.
Anytime I visit the boxers, bombers, I feel like I'm at home. Like the MC mentioned, I've been with you from day one. Before we went to Tokyo, and even before Commonwealth Games, anytime, because my passion for boxing is something that I cannot describe. And that is why I've been watching sets, and I have to thank you for coming all the way from London to represent Ghana. And also Doctor, for coming all the way from the US to come and represent Ghana. I'm with you from this journey all the way. But there's one thing I want you to know. As you are going to embark on this journey to Senegal, anytime you are in the ring, you should remember that you are representing 31 million people of Ghanaians. You are not there alone. Forget about everything and win the fight and defend the flag of Ghana. Go for the kill. You have to always, when you are in the ring, remember that those of you who were in Tokyo with me, you saw my passion. And I'm going to be with you. If I'm not able to come to Senegal, I'll be with you in Paris. Because I have so much confidence in you that you are going to qualify. as government, whatever we are supposed to do, when the leadership mentioned that they have to bring sets all the way from London and doctor from US, I said, no problem, we are going to get them ticket to come to Ghana. And we are going to make sure that your welfare issues, everything is catered for. Both the qualification and the main Paris Olympic Games will be there to provide you with everything. So yours is to make sure that you defend the flag and represent the entire 31 Ghanaian population. The last time we went to Tokyo, we came home with bronze. And among all the 55 African countries on the continent, Ghana was selected. Samuel Techi was selected to be part of the closing ceremony, which is so unique. This time as we are going, our blessing we have, we are blessing you. Even though you are not going to Paris yet, but this is a journey to Paris. This is a journey to Olympic Games. And we know that you go to Senegal and qualify, and you go to Paris and improve on our performance. So on behalf of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, and on behalf of the government and the good people of Ghana, we want to wish you well as you embark on this journey for qualification to the Olympic Games in Paris. Like I said, His Excellency the President, you all know love boxing.
Now, let's move on and talk about the Arm Wrestling World Championships that will be happening in Ghana. I'm president of Africa Arm Wrestling. Charles Osesibe says the organization of the competition is very unique and will give athletes the biggest platform yet that they've ever had in their career.
All these young pullers you see here may never have a world championship experience. May. And the reason is simple. It is expensive to travel outside Africa or Ghana. Unfortunately, we do not get the kind of support we need to be able to send these young ones outside to go and make the country proud. So the key reason for which I decided with my team to fight and bring world championship to Ghana is also to give experience and exposure to these young ones to at least in their lifetime participate in a world championship. Once Ghana is hosting, the guarantee of all these athletes playing at the world championship is high. So the number one reason was for these athletes to have a world championship in their lifetime. The second reason, the only way the sport of arm wrestling will become popular, the only way the sport of arm wrestling will get exposure, the only way we can develop the sport is to host championship. And for us, we had hosted 2 Africa Championships, and all 2 events were deemed or are deemed to be the best ever organized on the continent. So we felt that we've gone past Africa Championship. It is time for us to host the world. And on that note, we put in a bid to host the World Championship. The third reason, some few months ago, His Excellency the President of the Republic challenged state institutions that by 2026, he would want to see about 2 million visitors coming into Ghana. If we do not do this, how are we going to get 2 million visitors into Ghana? Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana Arm Wrestling Federation, through this bid, is bringing a huge percentage of these visitors into Ghana. And I'm proud to say that the World Championship will bring together about 2,000 visitors from all over the world coming into Ghana. Wisdom Abromechi had his first World Championship experience. Wisdom, stand, let's see you. He was in Kazakhstan and he saw the numbers that came to Kazakhstan. If indeed we want 2 million visitors, and we say sports is tourism. Sports should be one of the biggest tools to drive all. In fact, sports is the only tool. An emphasis on this. What event can bring together 2,000 visitors? If it's not football, it's track and field or arm wrestling.
Charles Osasibe, president of Arm Wrestling Africa, speaking there. But now, let's move on and talk about Spanish football. It's been engulfed with so much controversy after the women's team won the World Cup early this year. And it all started when the president, now suspended by FIFA, kissed one of the players, Hermoso. Well, and his mother decided to go on a hunger strike. One of the reasons why people actually had issues with the president of Spanish football, Rubiales, was the fact that they claim he's colluding with the head coach of the female national team, Jorge Vilda, to disrespect female footballers. Well, the coach has now finally been sacked after the suspension of Rubiales. The interesting thing is that after the World Cup, he was given a 4-year contract extension, but announced suspended president of Spanish football, Rubiales. Now, he's been fired by the Executive Council of the Spanish football.
Are you looking for a safe, luxurious yet affordable home? Elegant Homes has just the right house for you at affordable prices. Ahead of the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, we caught up with the Business Development Director of Elegant Homes and General Construction, Dorothy Kwashi, to find out what unique offers they have available for potential customers.
Elegant Homes is a construction and real estate development company. We've been in business for close to 2 decades now. And aside the estate that you see here, we have also executed some landmark projects. In fact, we build for people, we build for institutions, and then we do other personal jobs. And then we have another sister company, Elegant Homes Products Limited, that fabricates and sell high quality UPVC windows, doors, profiles, gypsum adhesive, and accessories. So basically, that is how it has been.
Tell us about why you decided to be part of this year's EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair and how long you've been with us.
We've been with the EcoBank Habitat Fair for quite some time now, and I think the result is quite overwhelming. And normally it's a time for us to advertise, to also meet prospective clients, and then eventually generate leads that will lead to sales. So that is the main idea, the brain behind we partnering multimedia for Habitat Fair over the years. We have different models, as you can see here. We have from 3 bedrooms, we have 4 bedrooms. We have different types of 3 bedrooms. We have the standard executive, we have the executive, and we have different models. The basic one is a 3 bedroom detached with 2.5 bathrooms, and then it comes with a fitted kitchen, it comes with a store, and it comes with all the niceties that one can get. And then we have 4 bedrooms also. The 4 bedrooms is what we'll be showcasing today, because over the years we've always been showcasing our 3-bedroom house. The 4-bedroom detached single story has a living and a dining area. You have a family area as well. You have all bedrooms en suite. You have a fitted kitchen with a store, And then it comes with 1-bedroom boys quarters, and then basically is seated on a 100 by 80 feet plot size.
The company, being privately owned, seeks to provide housing solutions to clients looking to invest in quality properties in Ghana. Coupled with a flexible payment plan, buyers stand to enjoy a 10% discount on all purchase made from Elegant Homes.
This is the house we'll be looking at. It's a 4-bedroom house, and it's called Aurora House. It's one of our 4 bedrooms, and you can see it's a contemporary design. It looks very, very exquisite, very nice. Also, follow me. It is very simple and very nice. So this is the living area for the house, and this here opens onto the terrace. So we could have just entered from here if we wanted to sit here. You just open, slide open, and then you can sit there comfortably. And that is the lovely dining area that you can see around. Well set. The dining is quite close to the kitchen because as part of the theme for this year, we are looking at affordability, we are looking at comfort, and we are looking at luxury. But here in Elegant Homes, you can have all the 3, and you will still pay very affordable price for it. So this is the kitchen. A house must be very functional, very spacious. You can see when we talk of a fitted kitchen, this is what it comes with. This is the microwave, and then this is the oven. You get it, very new. And then you have the cooker, and then you have the extractor. You get it, and then you have your double door fridge. Very spacious kitchen for any family size. Yeah. We come to the family area. As I explained earlier, the 4 bedrooms have 2 sitting areas. So we landed in the main area, the living area, and then this is the family area. The family area enables the family to sit. And so for those who have growing up children, it is always good to keep them here. You can have their PS5 or whatever here, so that they are always here playing. They don't get to disturb you when you have your formal guests. So this is the family area.
So this is a 4-bedroom.
This is a 4-bedroom house.
So it means it has 4 washrooms as well.
Yes, in fact it's 4.5 because you have a visitor's washroom, and then each room comes with a toilet and shower, and then you have a boys' quarters attached to it that also has a toilet and shower in there. And then this is a mixed setup. You have a hot and cold.
Built by a driven team of experienced developers, the houses have many unique features ranging from state-of-the-art washrooms to in-house speakers in all rooms in the house.
It opens onto a very nice garden. See, there's the garden.
Do you accept people who want to stay for short periods?
You see, sometimes we don't want to talk about this because this is one of prime residential areas we are trying to create. As much as possible, you don't want to commercialize it as well, knowing very well that sometimes when you open the floodgates, you have everyone coming in, and then some years to come, the beauty of the place will not. We want the owners to occupy. I mean, when the owners are here, there's a kind of a sense of responsibility because this is all they have and they want to protect it. So we are very restrictive in certain things. For example, you can commercialize it. You can't rear livestock here. You don't want to see pigs, goats around. I mean, for a place like this, people are retiring. They want their peace of mind. You will spend so much to come to a place like this, and then somebody will want to live here and then rear chicken or goats, which is not acceptable. So some of the rules are quite hard, but it's because we want, it's for a purpose, you get it. You want to create a haven for people who can afford.
Are there recreational spots in the estate?
Sure, it's part of the plan. It's an ongoing project, as you can see. So we have demarcated an area for an event center, which will have a swimming pool, tennis court, shops, and all that. So all those social amenities will come under the second phase. This is basically the first phase.
Customers also have the opportunity to have houses constructed in models of their choice.
Are you open to remodeling? I know some customers come and they like the house, but they want certain things changed.
Yeah, it's possible. That is why we have the tailor-made service where we build to suit individual taste. So for example, a client can choose this design, but can decide to have a roof instead of having it like this, can decide to have a roof, or can decide to change the layout, the floor plan. It is always done. We can do that for you, or we can design specifically for you. Any design of your choice, it's possible.
So this is one of the story buildings in the estate?
Yes, this is it. And this one is a customized one for someone. So you can see the story buildings are the extreme part of the tailor-made service. This was built from scratch with the client's own design.
We've seen a lot of amazing features in the houses and even outside them. So going into the Habitat Fair this year, the final event, customers will definitely see what you have in stock, but do you have anything to say to them?
Sure. What I want to say to our cherished customers is that make your way to Tema on the 15th to 17th for the 3rd mini clinic, and then the main fair that comes off in November. Come and see what we have to showcase. Before the event, if you want to call us or visit us here for viewing, you can reach us on 0244 699 053 or 057 659 7419. You can also visit our website and book for a view on www.eleganthomesgh.com, or you can send us an email through sales@eleganthomesgh.com. Don't forget, Elegant Homes is offering 10% discount on our prices. We are giving you a free video doorbell. We are giving you a fitted kitchen and many more. Elegant Homes is where quality meets value.
All right, so welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to deal with the big stories. Now, we know that the OSP says he has refrozen the account of Madam Cecilia Benada, former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. Why this, and is there a way that this could probably help in getting to the end of this matter? Again, yesterday, former Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Bawumia, announced his withdrawal from the MPP's flag bearership race. We'll delve into all of these issues. Mr. Yunusa Fuseni is a former member of Parliament and a legal practitioner as well. Let's bring him on. And then in studio, I have Honorable Richard Achampon. He is member of Parliament for Bia East. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well.
I wish I could start with a Wasa. I think you also do you speak Wasa? What language do you?
We speak Seshi.
Seshi, so like Brosa, eh?
The difference between Seshi and Brosa.
Oh, really? Which one is like a hunter and Nzama?
With a hunter, some speak Chi. They have their own local dialects, and then Nzama is closer to Seshi.
That's the thing.
They understand our language.
Yes, I'm a hunter. When you speak, I can understand your language.
I want to say,
Boko.
Yeah, so, but we don't understand much of
our language, okay.
The hunters, yeah.
Anyway.
Ours is closer to Santichi.
Oh, okay. Then I think Brosa is rather the one that is very close to Nzema and Hunter.
Yeah, Brosa. Also, Brosa. It's like the English type of Seshi.
Of Seshi, yeah. Anyway, all right, now let's start with the Alan Tremantin issue. Was it out of the moon for you? How did it come to you when you heard it?
Bro, thank you very much for the opportunity. Let me say a very good morning to your viewers and the people of Bia East. Alan has done it before. In 2007, he did resign from the MPP party because of some issues that he wasn't happy with. And then with yesterday, many pointers were raising issues about it. Either Alan will go the full haul of the process or he will resign along the way. But I didn't get him because reading his press release, the issues that he raised. Though Northeast, we heard of an attack of his agent and some intimidation, according to his press release, before and after the election, some pronouncement by some party officials. He wasn't happy with it, and everybody thought Alan could either lead the process as the special delegate or place second.
Yeah.
But he came third. So he got the sense that these people don't need me in the MPP political party any longer.
But he didn't say he's out of the political party.
No,
he says it's the presidential that he is out.
That's my personal conclusion on that. Because I've worked with you guys for all these years. Akufo-Addo made mention of it, that after my tenure, you will be the next person to inherit the flag bearership position. That's why they came by the acronym ADRUSO and all that. So if we had to go to Special Delegate Congress, and then I could not become the number 1, number 2, and I got the position of number 3. Charlie, something is wrong somewhere.
But is it not your own doing if you were third? Because someone was second. Kennedy Japan came second. So is it not his own doing that placed him third?
All over the years, nobody I've ever heard Ken having an ambition of becoming a president of this nation. Yeah. Never. We know him to be a member of parliament. So just 5 months to this time, he just came to the race, started campaigning. We thought he was joking until he picked the form and paid the money and filed. So for me to do all these things all over this, he contested. This is the 4th time of Alan contesting.
Yeah.
So if you will not let me lead the party and I will not be number 2nd, Charlie, something is wrong somewhere. So this intimidation is just a 1 of 10 because he couldn't mention 2 people, only 1. Yeah. That's Northeast.
Yeah.
And the pronouncement, he couldn't mention any name.
Yeah.
So what is the point? You need to go the full haul, fight it, even if you lose it, lose graciously, so that your supporters will see that next time. Don't think about the age. Next time, if Alan comes forward for any position, we will be there to support him. But I said he's done some consultations. I don't know, either he want to go solo, like go independent or whatever. I don't get it.
Let me share with our viewers the details of his statement, and then I'll come to you. Now, he says on Sunday, the 27th of August, 2023, I issued a public statement which made reference to the selection and shortlisting of presidential aspirant by the Special Electoral College convened by the New Patriotic Party on 26th of August 2023. After having carefully analyzed the results of the said elections, it is absolutely clear to me from events leading to, during and after the elections, that the Special Delegate Conference was strategically and tactically skewed in favor of one particular aspirant. The pronouncement made by some leading members of our party, both before and after the elections, also lend weight to my observations. the level of intimidation of varying intensity, directly and indirectly unleashed on a significant number of delegates at various voting centers across the 16 regions is unprecedented in the history of our party. In addition, the fact that my polling agent in the Northeast region has suffered severe damage to his eyesight, arising from his bold and courageous effort to ensure compliance with the very rules and regulations for the conduct of the elections as approved by the Presidential Elections Committee, will forever remain a dark spot in the history of internal elections within the party. This incident and various acts of violence and collusion reported in other voting centers are appalling, unconscionable, and despicable. I am committed to and value the safety of those who work with me and for me, and will always fight for their interest. The question I keep asking myself is, quote, how did we get here as a party in the first place? And how far are we prepared to tread on this dangerous path to self-destruction, unquote. Regrettably, I am not convinced that the circumstances I have referred to earlier will not persist or even be escalated in the next round of elections, for which balloting is scheduled for Wednesday, 6th of September 2023, which is today. In the light of the foregoing, I wish to confirm that I am honorably withdrawing from the process that will lead to the presidential primaries to be held on the 4th of November 2023. In the next upcoming weeks, I will provide an indication of the role that I will play in politics in Ghana, after consultations with my family and other well-wishers, various stakeholders and interest groups. I wish all the other aspirants well as they continue on their journey. I also wish to use this opportunity to express my profound gratitude once again to my family, the Alan for President A4P campaign team, and all my teaming supporters in Ghana and from around the world who have supported me in diverse ways over the years. Please be assured that the battle is still the Lord's, and that those who wait upon the Lord shall have their strength renewed. God bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. Honorable, you're laughing.
Yeah, you know.
Why are you laughing? That's the statement that the man sat and brought out.
Yeah.
It's laughable to you?
Yeah, it's very interesting statement. Because all of us are aware of the establishment candidates. Do you understand? Which is Bawumia, we know. And they compare their register just to favor Bawumia.
How?
I'm a politician. I've been around for more than 11 years as a member of parliament. So we know what it is to create an album.
Did they bring in someone who was not supposed to be there?
You know, election is a process.
Okay.
Do you understand? So picking people from the branch level, constituency level, regional level, up to national level, if you have political interest, you try to select people that will do the bidding for you.
Okay, and that doesn't mean they are playing with the register, does it?
So who is in charge? Akufo-Addo is in charge, Bawumia is the vice president, and Akufo-Addo has done serious damage to this economy and is exiting 2024. He needs somebody who will cover up for him. Do you understand? So there's no way he will bring an outsider to superintend whatever he did to this economy. And Alan was part of the problems. And then Bawumia is part of the problem, but the major challenge and beneficiary is Bawumia. So let me put Bawumia up so that Bawumia, as a vice president, becomes the next president, but God forbid, he's not coming to be the president because John Mama is coming. So that Bawumia will do the bidding and then the cover up for me. So there's no way he will do this thing for Alan. Do you understand?
But the party is different from the government. The party has the party chairman, has the general secretary, has the executives. How do you say that the president...
The party produced the president and then the running mate. Because before you want to be a president, you need to choose a running mate.
Yes, I get it.
And the Council of State or Council of Elders must endorse that candidature. Do you understand? So if you put the person up and you go for a campaign and all that, everybody told us everything, especially the economy, the brain behind everything is Bawumia.
Yeah.
He has deep knowledge about the economics. The city will be stabilized. They're going to reduce prices, moving from taxation to production. Everything was done by Bawumia. Look at the lectures he organized throughout all the universities in this country. Do you understand? And now, where do we see the decent rates? Look at the numbers. Look at inflation. Look at unemployment rates. So, even when he was going to cast his ballot, the president, somebody asked him, times are hard. People are complaining. And he said, a new leader will come and face it.
Well, I did ask the question.
I decided not to mention your name. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So meaning it was admission of failure that he couldn't face it. So who is the new leader here? Is it NDC leader or MPP leader?
No, but he continued to say that. But I think it's going to be an MPP leader to take us out of it. He said a new leader will.
But we disagree. We disagree with him because John Mama is winning the 2024 elections.
Okay.
Do you understand? It's not by a word of mouth. We are going to work towards it.
Okay.
We are not going to sleep and assume that the Ghanaians will give us power on a silver platter. No way. So Alan has an issue with Akufo-Addo and the entire architecture. So the point is, why should I go invest money into this? By the end of the day, I know I will not win.
So I'll preserve my money rather.
But in politics, sometimes it's difficult quitting.
Okay.
You need to go the full haul, lose graciously, so that people will have issues to tell you, oh, Charlie, you did your best, but the system did not favor you.
Okay.
But to run away as a gentleman is serious.
Okay. Let me bring in Dr. Kabiru Mahama. He is with the he is at the Vice President's office. He was a member, or he is a member of the Vice President's campaign team. Doctor, good morning to you and thanks for coming.
Good morning, Samuel, and good morning to your cherished viewers.
How did the camp of the Vice President receive this announcement by Mr. Alan Bawumia that he is withdrawing because the election was skewed in favor of the Vice President? Well, anyway, actually it's the Vice President as one of the candidates.
Well, so the first and foremost, the expectation of the team was that Mr. Alan Bawumia would throw in the towel. He was taken out of the process because any good advisor to Mr. Alan Bawumia would have advised him safe. Because when you have a presidential ambition and each year or each time you make an attempt at that particular ambition, the fortune, your chances keep on jingling. It will not make sense to go through the process and not make an impact. Because as a politician, you must watch the language of the electorate. You must watch the mood of the people. And if I were to be Mr. Alan Bawumia, I would have taken the same decision. And I know that, and I know for sure that they have engaged political consultants. They have advised him on this decision. So when we heard of the intended press conference to be organized by Mr. Alan Bawumia, we were clear in our mind that that probably was going to be the platform to share with his supporters that he was no more on the road.
Okay.
And that he has gotten to the run of the runway, and it was going to be a difficult decision to take off. So he would rather stop the flight than to crash with the flight. So that didn't come to us as a surprise at all. The reasons assigned to that decision is not different from the reasons Mr. Alan Bawumia gave for his resignation in 2008. When he lost the election to Nana Akufo-Addo in the same process, the same reasons, in fact, the same reasons. And if you listen to the reasons, he mentioned then that there were intimidation of his party supporters across the country. And his spokespersons then, Mr. Kuku Wilson Jones, as well as Charles Sam, they spoke vehemently on this issue of intimidation. The same reasons are given to us today by Mr. Alan Bawumia as the reasons why he is no more contested. But you know, a politician must first and foremost understand, as I said, the mood. The spirit of the MPP is currently with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So if you go to an election and you do not win, the best thing you should have done is to, accept responsibility like Mr. Kobana Ajampong did, and to say that the people have spoken. But to assign reasons like the voter has been, or the register has been skewed towards a certain aspirant is to shift the blame, to shift the responsibility, to fail to take responsibility for your own poor showing. And I think that that is a bit that's unfortunate about it. When you look at the register, it is a constitutional provision of who is qualified to vote. The Constitution, as amended by the NPP, provided that a certain category of people should vote. No one outside of that category was brought into the register to vote. That is one. Two, members of parliament are part and parcel. In fact, they constitute one of the largest groups in this register. Bawumia was the only candidate who went and sought the approval and consent and support of members of parliament prior to his decision to contest. Most of the aspirants didn't go. Thirdly, Mr. Alan Bawumia did not do the campaign Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia did, even though he had got the support of many people in Ghana who probably would have campaigned for him. He still went to all the 16 regions of the country. Mr. Alan Bawumia never went to all the 16 countries. In the case of the special delegates, in fact, the 3 or 5 northern regions, he had to bring them to a centralized place. But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia went to all these people, apart from visiting all constituencies in the south. I mean, there are 5 regions in the south: Greater Accra region, Central region, Ashanti region, Western region, and then Central region. Okay. The other candidates didn't do that. So if a person is winning an election by virtue of the hard work, by virtue of the dedication he put into the campaign, the commitment of his campaign team, you don't come at the end of the day and lose the election and you want to blame it on other reasons. As I said, those reasons were the same reasons he gave when he lost to Nana Akufo. Despite the fact that he had more or less a sitting president supporting him, he still cited reasons of intimidation of his agents and his supporters. So that is not a new reason. I mean, those reasons are not new. My only sense is that Mr. Alan Bawumia has got, and in fact, the statement that he would decide on his new rule or new contribution to the policy of that was contained in his resignation letter when he gave it to the party. Okay, so I mean, these reasons are not new, but I just feel that Mr. Alan Bawumia has taken a right decision for himself, but he cannot face his supporters and tell them that, look, on the back of the results, on the back of the results we had, I cannot continue the rule. In fact, the contest of Alan was with Mr. Kennedy Agyapong. It wasn't with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. If you look at the results, he was battling for a position with Mr. Kennedy Agyapong. So from the word go, up in issue, he had gotten his target wrong. Because I feel like his focus should have been how do I outdo Mr. Ken Agyapong and become a second force. But now he failed to do. He couldn't compete with Mr. Kennedy Agyapong. He only came third after Mr. Kennedy Agyapong had placed second. And
but we've heard of, you know, intimidation strategies that were employed to ensure that the vice president, you know, wins this. We've heard it from people who say that because they declared their support for Alan Kyerematen, they were relieved of their position. We've heard of people who were threatened that if they support any other candidate apart from Dr. Bawumia, they will be relieved of their post. And so, you know, he's only re-echoing the sort of things that people have said in the past, that it looks like the party is intimidating people in the favor of the vice president.
Yeah, I mean, that decision, I mean, that allegation is, I mean, frivolous. That allegation has no legs to stand on. That allegation has no basis on the fact of the election. And for one to suggest that any candidate has been, I mean, any activist or agent or supporter of any of the candidates had been intimidated, it to be untrue to oneself. Let me give you the fact. There were several members of parliament, okay, who supported other candidates, especially Mr. Alan Kyerematen. Nothing happened to them. There were cabinet ministers of state who supported Mr. Alan Kyerematen. Nothing happened to them. There were CEOs who supported Mr. Alan Kyerematen. Nothing happened to them. None of them lost their job. So to say that you've been threatened that if you support Mr. Alan Kyerematen, you lose your job, it is to tell a lie. Okay? And we must be bold in calling out some of these things. Let us face the reasons why we defeated the Ghanaian people, the Special Delegates Conference, whose composition is a creator of the NPP constitution, decided that for the time being, our spirit is with Bawumia, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And to that extent, we will support it. And whenever the spirit of the party is the person, you have no reason but to go along. If you are facing that particular sport, you will be considered as an outcast in the party, because that is what the cream of the party is actually yearning for. The roots and then the grassroots of the party is looking for a certain candidate. And in this current time, Mr. Alan Bawumia does not fit in that particular scheme of aspects. And that is basically the reason why his votes he's not performed so well in this election.
Hobson Adoya told me and my colleague on the day of election that he, for example, lost his job because he was supporting Alan Bawumia. What happened to that? Why was he relieved of his position?
Who said he lost his job?
Hobson Adoya, yeah.
Hobson is not being true. Hobson was not even, he had not been relieved before he started campaigning for Mr. Alan Bawumia. Okay, he's not the only person who is supporting Mr. Alan Bawumia and government. I gave you an example, like Mr. Peter Mengu in the last engagement. I gave you Sly Tete. He's a member of parliament and committee members and board chairs. He is not been relieved of any of that particular governmental appointment. Okay, Deputy Minister for Finance, we all know, has not been relieved of that particular position. I can go on and on with several people. Okay, the fact of the matter is that your numbers, because they are not many, you think that because the majority of the other candidates support another person, you think that they don't have minds of their own, they have been quick to support that particular person. It's not to be fair to those people, as I've always argued. We don't go on that target, that the simple fact that absolute majority of government appointees are supporting a particular candidate, then your conclusion thereof is that those people are intimidated and that they fear losing their jobs. That is the reason why they are supporting a certain candidate. In 2007, when the majority of government appointees were supporting Mr. Alan Bawumia, he still cited intimidation. Okay, so for me, it is not an issue that if there's any person who has had intimidation, either direct or indirect, being blackmailed, is the vice president who should be complaining. But of course, many of the decisions that were taken, he was not comfortable with some of the decisions, but he kept quiet because he had abiding faith in the party to do the right thing. The things that will let us leave power in 2024. Okay, so because of that faith, he was quiet. So, but majority of the activists of Mr. Alan Bawumia, you saw them make allegations, you saw them attacking people, you saw them insulting people when they should be focused on the campaign. I have had opportunity to discuss this, and I told on your city, I mentioned that look, we shouldn't go on the path of insulting one another because it will be difficult to come back to support when you don't win in the likely event. At the end of the day, when you don't win, and that is essentially what has happened. To go back on the West, or to go back and sit down and reflect, and to come and join the party is not going to be difficult. So they will have to find reasons. Some of those reasons are non-existent to justify why they cannot continue and why they will stand aside and will go. But I hope that we will not repeat the mistakes of 2018 in the upcoming election in 2024.
Okay, let me bring in Honorable Vincent Eko Asifwa, who is Member of Parliament for Otafo. Honorable, good morning. Do you have Honorable with me?
Good morning.
Great,
How are
great.
you?
I'm good. So you are a member of Parliament. The MPs, all of you had a side for which you are supporting. What do you make of the decision by Mr. Alan Bawumia to withdraw from this, and what impact will it have on the process which is to come on the 4th of November?
Well, let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. First and foremost, let me state that I was not surprised to have seen the press release from the office of the Honorable Alan Bawumia withdrawing from the race. Mind you, the NPP is a democratic party. It's a party that is founded on solid credentials of democracy. And so there's nothing like drumiso or anything. I mean, it is your work, it is your worth. That is what the party is going to base on and vote for you. I took time to go through the press release.
Okay.
And I was very surprised the kind of reasons that were churned out or given out as the basis for him to withdraw from the race. Because if the Honorable Alan Kyerematen, number one, says that there were some leading members of the party who came up publicly to support a particular candidate, and for that matter, that is a basis for him to say that I am not contesting anymore. And I come back to say, why would anybody make such a claim? Because from both sides of the candidature, that is Dr. Bawumia and Alan Kyerematen himself, there were members of parliament and ministers of state who came out publicly to say that they are supporting a particular candidate. In fact, in 2007-2008, when he was the system candidate, there were a number of ministers, even in fact, at the time, the chief of staff, who was at the forefront of his campaign. That was not a problem for him. Why now? Because if today, as a member of parliament for Otafo, by virtue of my affiliation or by virtue of my belief in the credentials of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I come out to publicly say that I'm giving my support to Dr. Bawumia, which I did. In fact, I did it even at the time that the party had barred members of parliament, or if like appointees or anybody, to come out publicly to support a candidate, which made the National Executive Committee, if like the Disciplinary Committee, invited me to the party headquarters. There were other people who were also members of parliament, ministers of state, who also came out publicly to support the Honorable Alan Kyerematen. So it cannot be a basis. It cannot under any imagination be a basis for Honorable Alan Kyerematen to say that it is on that basis I am withdrawing from the race. Because the Honorable who is a cabinet minister, decided to support the Honorable Alan Kyerematen. The Honorable Abna Osiasare, my sister, who is also a member of parliament and the deputy minister of finance, also decided to support Honorable Alan. Nothing happened. Number two, the Honorable Alan Kyerematen in his press release also stated that the elections were skewed towards a particular candidate. And my very good friend, the Honorable Member of Parliament who is in your studio, also stated that the register was skewed in favor of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Then I asked the question, per the constitution of the New Patriotic Party, it has stated the people who are supposed to be members of the Special Delegate Conference or Congress, who are supposed to elect 5 people out of any number, which is more than 5, who decides to contest for presidential candidate. And it is the party that has decided, or if like the party constitution that has enumerated such people, members of parliament, that is about 137 of us, who decided, or if you like, who are supposed to be voting. The former president, I don't know if the Honorable, or if like His Excellency John Ajekun Kufuor, anybody put him in the register, skewed it in favor of a particular candidate. I don't see how that is reasonable. I don't see how former general secretaries like Kwapong Japan and Ohininto, especially Ohininto, who was a vociferous campaign team member of the Honorable Alan Kyerematen, was skewed towards a particular candidate, which is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I also don't see that basis, and it beats my imagination for anybody to think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, if you like, a particular candidate, was favored per the register that was churned out by the party's constitution.
So you don't agree with Alan Kyerematen over his reasons that he's given?
That is why I'm saying that if you juxtapose the reasons that has been given with the reality, it is very inconsistent. It makes no sense. And it is a dent on the process or the electioneering process that had been set out by the New Patriotic Party. Because out of the 16 regions, the press statement is saying that there was a widespread intimidation. Where was the widespread intimidation? It is only one instance in the Northeast where someone who was supposed to be voting was being resisted by Alan's agent. Just one scenario out of 16 regions.
No, but we heard of other places which even got Mr. Kennedy Japan very angry, and we all heard, the sort of things that he said there.
His team was called. I was in the Ashanti region, where the regional youth organizer decided to vote, and he was resisted by agents of Alan Shamartin and other people. But I'm just saying that there was nowhere in all the regions, apart from the Northeast instance, where there was any intimidation or whatsoever. Any delegate who has been mandated by the constitution of the New Patriotic Party, like myself, was allowed to vote freely without any intimidation. Now, let me give you the reason. Let me give you the right reason.
Do that for me in a minute, and then let me move on.
Martin failed to do. As a member of parliament, I stay in my house around 11 p.m. I receive a call. I decide not to pick because I don't know where the call is coming from. Then my bell starts to ring. I come out only to see that it is the vice president who wants to see me. Now, I am just using myself as an example. The reason or the rationale behind the success of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, which other candidates are failing, as it were, to understand. Now, he comes to my home and says, Vincent, as young as I am, the vice president comes to my home and says that I need your support. Can you please help me to achieve this dream of mine? The other candidates fail to do that. I can tell you, with the exception of the Honorable Jogate, no candidate even called me. What does that mean? It means that there was somebody who was very serious with the work that he was doing, who knew what he wanted, and came down to the people with all humility and decided to canvass for votes, which he did, and for that matter, was able to show up during the special delegates conference.
Okay.
So if he fails to put in the hard work and fails, you cannot adduce such reasons and say that the election was skewed towards anybody.
Okay. Let me bring in Dr. John Osai Kwapong. He is a CDD fellow. We've been with Doc all through the process. Before the election day, I spoke to him here. Doc, you've seen the process, how it went about. You've seen the reactions that have come in. You've heard Mr. Alan Chairmantin say that because of the intimidations that went on, because of the injury that one of his observers got, he can no longer continue to be part of the process and he is withdrawing. What do you foresee to be the impact of this action of Mr. Chairmantin on the process to elect a flag bearer and on the party itself going into 2024?
Thank you and good morning. I don't think it would have an impact on the process itself. It's now down to 4 candidates. There are rules in place, there are procedures in place, and those rules and procedures will continue to govern what happens on November 4th. It's unfortunate that one of the reasons that Mr. Alan Chairmantin, pointed to was, the nature of the process or the conduct of what happened, during the, Super Delegate Saturday. I would have hoped that whatever grievances there were, he would have given the party, a chance to resolve those grievances, probably put in, some mechanisms or added measures so that the issues that he's raising as issues of concern may not repeat themselves. Probably give the party, let's say, up to the end of September, middle of October, to see if the party is demonstrating quote unquote good faith that they would address those things. And if you are still dissatisfied, then perhaps you can make that decision that is this something that I even want to participate in or not. So for me, it doesn't immediately affect the process. I wish that he had given the party a chance to also resolve some of these grievances to his dissatisfaction or otherwise. Then he could have ultimately said, you know, I don't want to be part of this. Who knows? Maybe he tried in the background. I can speak to that. But in terms of its impact on the party, I always say that going into an election, every party needs unity. And therefore, they must do or they must make efforts to stop anything that chips at the party's unity. Therefore, for me, with his withdrawal from the race, yes, I know that in politics it would come with some trolling, some teasing, all of those things. But I think ultimately it is incumbent upon the party to be gracious towards him. I always say that we have to be gracious in victory and we also have to be gracious in defeat. But I think it is very incumbent on the party going into 2024, knowing that unity is important in an upcoming election, to try as much as possible to make sure that they treat Mr. Alan Kyerematen with grace and with dignity. Even if he said things in his in his withdrawal letter that, you know, maybe people or sections within the party may not agree with. Ultimately, how you treat him and how you resolve post-primary grievances, I think goes a long way to ensure that nothing destabilizes, party unity going into an important election.
Would people be right to say it's sort of becoming a known trend of Mr. Kyerematen when in such races things don't go according to his wish?
I mean, when you look on the face of it, that is what it appears, right? So if you recall what happened, in the lead up to the 2008 election and his participation in that primary, resignation, reasons alluded to, and seen in this instance as well. It doesn't augur well for the perception that it fuels in terms of what happens when, quote unquote, he doesn't win, or the caliber of a politician that he is. Yes, these things don't contribute positively to the kind of politician that he is. Because should he someday decide that he wants to contest flag bearership again of the MPP, I can see him being reminded of these two instances.
All right. Let me bring in the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC for the party's response to all of this, and then I'll let him go. Mustafa, good morning to you. Thanks for joining.
Morning, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
How is the party taking all of this development in the MPP?
There are a lot of developments. Which one are we?
I mean, Alan Kyerematen's own is the latest. He getting out of the race. How is the NDC reacting to this?
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us. Basically, we are watching from afar. And for us in the NDC, we would not wish that we tread on the weaknesses of the MPP, but to come into government on a strong conversation, a conversation that brings together all Ghanaians for the fight of a common destiny, a conversation that unites this country around an understanding that we all ought to live and we all ought to do well, which is why we have brought back a flag bearer who has experience, a flag bearer who has a track record to come and lead that agenda in this critical period that we find ourselves. Again, we believe that the totality of the cracks what would Alan have done otherwise? If you have an entire establishment, government machinery, resources, backed by the sitting president, supporting his vice president. And don't forget that before they went for the superdelegate conference, we have said that Bawumia is a candidate for the establishment, the Akufo-Addo establishment. His candidate stands for a cover-up. His candidate is an agenda to cover for the sins, criminal activities of the sitting establishment led by His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. It is only Bawumia whose candidature can guarantee that the president is covered for all the wrongs he has committed against the people of Ghana. And so he will go heaven and earth, financially, machinery, systems, to ensure that Bawumia becomes the candidate. And one of the ways they did that was to discredit Alan Kyerematen's might and candidature and admiration in the party at the level of the centralized structure of the party. And don't forget that the party should be able to have the resources to influence elections at that level, the level of the region, the level that involves appointees, the level that involves presidential staffers, council of elders. You've seen a list of alleged bribery amounts that were given to individuals for the purposes of this election. You have had factions, parts of the candidates, coming up to confirm that indeed there was some bribery from the side of the establishment. You have seen one aspirant also coming out to threaten the whole establishment. What it also means that Akufo-Addo has not only failed to give leadership to Ghanaians, he has failed to give leadership to his own party. That is who the man is. That is his nature. That is his character. That is what he brings to bear as a leader. And so Akufo-Addo has not only inflicted division in this country, he has not only relegated this country to the ground, he has also destroyed his own party.
But Bande, it's not an easy target for anybody to say, well, the president is supporting his vice president. It could be, it couldn't be 100%, but that's an easy target for anybody to do, isn't it?
Well, for us, that is not the case. The case is that we know that Akufo-Addo's support for Bawumia is deliberate, well designed, well calculated, because for any government or for any president who have committed the kind of atrocities Nana-Addo have committed in this country, he would want to cover his back. And to cover his back, he needs a vice president he has succeeded in using for the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons that this government have engaged in this country, from promising the people taking loans and not using same for the work. He used Bawumia. From going to deceive the people and not following. He used Bawumia. And so he means that he has a convenient partner who will cover up for him, demonstrating loyalty of leadership. And that is what exactly, and for me, that's a very smart, individualistic way. But what it is that the NDC's winning of 2024 elections is a national demonstration and resistance to leadership of broad-based corruption, leadership that divides the country, leadership that does not put the plight of the Ghanaians to work. That is what this government have demonstrated, and that is what would engineer the winning of the NDC.
All right. Okay. Mustafa, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Mustafa Bande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Now, Aquinas Knox is writing on Facebook. He says, just that sense of entitlement. Asemo, he wants the flag bearership to be handed to him without contest. That will be undemocratic. So that's Aquinas Knox's comment in there. But let me bring in Dr. Kabiru Mahama before I come to Honorable Champon. Honorable Kabiru Mahama, so you heard the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC say that the president only is supporting your candidate, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because he wants to cover up his tracks for the many wrongs that he's done to the economy of this country. How do you respond to it?
I would say that it is absurd, but as it is ridiculous for the Deputy General Secretary and by extension the NDC to make such a wild allegation. But you can see that there's a pattern. Just like the one in studio mentioned, the same pattern has been taken by Mr. Dangue. And I think that the NDC at any particular time in our history have always been afraid of anyone who would win an election from the NDC. And you realize that even history has told us that the same people were supporting Mr. Alan Bawumia against Mr. President now, because they use issues that Mr. President is arrogant, he's thinking there is a sense of intelligence. They use all sorts of reasons saying that Mr. Alan Bawumia was the best person for the NPP. So at all points, at any moment in time, they have always gone for a candidate. They know that he cannot win the power for the NPP. So that line of argument is expected of the NDC. You don't expect them to come saying that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the best and that he is the one who can win us power in 2024. They will want to, discredit his reputation. They will come at him, and we are ready. In fact, we want just November 4th to be over. And we will come marching Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia against Mr. John Mahama. And that is where we'll be able to tell who is competent, who is corrupt, who has the demeanor, who has the country at heart, who has performed creditably and his mandate should be given, who has ultimate responsibility and has failed the people of Ghana. That is where we will come marching them with the record. But for now, our focus is on going through the process. We want to maintain a united front to finish the November 4 process. And the Vice President will select his running mate and will come marching them. I don't know, at that time, Ghanaians will tell if what the NDC is saying is the truth of the fact or what the MPP will say. Ghanaians will analyze the performance of both governments and the performance of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as Vice President. In juxtaposing that with the performance of John Mahama as Vice President as President. And the verdict will be out. And so at the end of the day, we are clear in our mind that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the right person. Help us win power in 2024.
All right. Oblite Kome says, unity is all we need as a party, irrespective of whoever wins this presidential election. Breaking the 8 is a must. Greetings to Dr. Dacosta Abuaje, Director of Health Promotion Division of the Ghana Health Service. Eben Naim says, in fact, the way they are pushing us to a particular candidate will not help. That is that. Let me see. Okay. Dominic Dansu says, JM is coming. All right. Honorable. So you've heard there. They say for them, all that they are looking forward to is to come and meet Mr. John Mahama and for Ghanaians to really choose between Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and John Dramani Mahama, who's the best, and they are not really worried about what Alan Chamanti is doing. And it looks like your response is calculated. The NDC is doing the same line.
Because that's the fact of the matter.
Okay.
And we are not to choose a candidate for the MPP.
But they say that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say that. Well,
and we are happy Bawumia will take the lead by the end of the day so that you can fight and win the 2024 elections. Because he has a lot of baggages. Do you understand? He did a lot of lectures. He made a lot of promises. When it comes to the city, the inflation, GDP growth, unemployment, and all that. So he will be measured. So if you bring a new person, that person will have excuses. That I wasn't part of the team, which caused all this mess for us. So I'm coming with a new vision, blah, blah, blah. But now Bawumia is telling us he himself has a new vision.
Yeah.
And if I have a new vision, why didn't you use that vision to support Akufo-Addo to succeed? Are you selfish? Are you greedy? Because you had the president.
What if he has provided all of those suggestions?
Meaning it couldn't work. So what is it again that you want to give to Ghanaians? So we'll do the comparison in terms of personalities. So you look at the persona of John Mahama and that of Bawumia, what John Mahama was able to achieve for us in terms of growth, in terms of our GDP numbers, in terms of inflation. Inflation was 15%. Today, it's 43.2%.
It's even moved to 45 point something.
Look at food inflation. They picked the city at 3.8%. Today, between 11.5 to 12 Ghana cities. And even if we read through, what do you call it, the media review the minister presented to Parliament, he's telling us that non-performing loans has moved from 14.1% to 18.7%, meaning 4.6% of people contracting loans cannot pay.
But how is that the doing of the government?
Who's in charge of the economic management team?
Who is in charge? But if you take a loan and you can't pay back, is that the doing of the government?
Because the cost of borrowing is higher. The cost of doing business is also higher. Do you understand? Just last Monday, not this week Monday, TB rate, Treasury bill, was 27%. But government went to the market and got 31.2%. 31.65%. Meanwhile, your lending rate is 30%. Because of the risk factor, if you incur a loss of 16.8 billion, negative equity of 55.1 billion, so the investor community will price you high because of the risk factor. And whose responsibility it is to make sure that the city is stabilized? It's the governor and the finance minister. Do you understand? So if you look at all these conditions, and Bawumia is the head of the economic management team, and we are saying you have a new vision to do what? You have more than 1 year to leave office. Just put your expertise into practice so that people will have a feeling of it. Because of this, you push more than 850,000 people into poverty line. Those who can eat 3 balls of kinky today are eating 1. You know the price of goods and services in town? You're a media person. You hear people complain about their circumstances. So they voted against NDC, hoping that MPP will come and do something right for them. And they've come to the understanding that they could have stayed with the NDC for things to be better. We used to pay interest payment alone was less than 10 billion by the end of 2016. Today, they are projecting 54 billion Ghana cedis. You see a stability of the city today because you suspended payment of interest and principal because of debt restructuring. So if you postpone payment of your interest and principal, by the end of the day, you go back to pay those debts, and the reality will face you.
Okay.
So we don't care who is leading the MPP, no matter what. 2024 will be a communal labor. Yes,
that's what I say.
National agenda.
Okay.
We need to save this country from total collapse. No two ways about that. You feel it, I feel it. We go to the same market. You have a vote, I have a vote. So don't say it's NDC, MPP matter. This national interest. Let's do this communal labor and kick off a Kufuor Bawumia government away.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Honorable Kwasefo again. Honorable, I've heard people suggest that it will be in the interest of your party if Alan Kyerematen is made the running mate to whoever wins. Is it something that you would ascribe to?
It's interesting. Normally, that is at the behest of the presidential candidate-elect. If the presidential candidate believes that per his vision, he needs someone like that. Don't forget, in 2017, when His Excellency, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, won the elections, the first person that he promised the trade community was
Mr. Alan Kyerematen.
Appointment of Alan Kyerematen as the trade minister, even though he contested him. So depending on the vision of the candidate, depending on how the person thinks that he can win the general elections, and if he needs Alan Kyerematen, so be it. As soon as the party declares a candidate as a winner, we will support his vision, we will support everything that he would want to do. But in the circumstances, I don't even see that to be a likely consideration.
Okay. But Dr. John Osai Kwapong, I mean, you've been in the space for some time. Is this something the MPP should consider, making Alan Kyerematen, the running mate to whoever wins? A lot of people are saying, well, Bawumia won't win. When he does, make Alan his running mate.
Well, I think that's up to the vice president to initially decide who quote unquote, he feels comfortable with, has confidence in, wants to run with, and then, get the approval of, the blessing of the party. But for me, looking at the dynamics now, and how Mr. Alan Kyerematen is exiting, the race, I personally don't think it would be an advisable route to go. I mean, unless, of course, all of these grievances can be resolved to a level of satisfaction. And then again, Mr. Kyerematen wants to be president, right? I don't get the impression that he wants to be vice president. And so I just don't see how feasible a route is. But again, for me, if I look at the dynamics and the nature of the exit, I don't even think it is something that I would recommend that the party pursues as a viable option.
Okay. All right. Dr. Kabir Mahama, so we're just about wrapping up. I don't know whether probably from the camp you've started discussing the possibility of making Mr. Alan Kyerematen a running mate. Is it something that has come up?
Something, even if it is brought up, it is going to be premature. Like you said, anyone who wants to become the running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia must first show that he really wants to become the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You must be with the people, you must be with the party, you must bring in something, you must be someone building bridges. These are the things that we look for, and someone who is going to complement Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's chances of winning the election. Mind you, he was brought in to support Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to win an election. So if anyone is also coming to support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that similar measure, that similar yardstick is going to be at the heart of the determination of who partners him. But that discussion hasn't started. The Vice President is focused now on the primaries. We will take one thing at a time. When everything is over, God willing, by the 4th of November, he will trigger the search for a suitable running mate. And that search will be much more embracing. It is going to be broad-based. And at the end of the day, we will not have doubt as to the one who will be taken, we will not have doubt that that person would contribute to the electoral forces of the NPP and supporting the economic development and growth agenda that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to lead. So basically, that is going to happen. But in the meantime, the team is focused on winning the November 4th election. And then thereafter, we will look at the possibility and options and who will potentially become the running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kabir Mahama, for joining. Grateful to you, Honorable Vincent Eko Asifua, MP for Otafo, for joining as well. To you, Dr. John Osai Kwapong, I'm grateful that you could join us. And then in studio, I had Honorable Richard Achampon, MP for Bia East. He says he spent 11 years in Parliament and he's going to go for more, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I've gone through the primaries, so
okay.
I'm contesting for the 2024 elections.
And you're
confident? By the grace of the people, and they've seen the handiwork of Richard General or Richard Achampon, so they have no problem retaining me as a member of Parliament. So I may conclude by saying that MPP may have their own problems, but it's not over. Because they are going to have the elections.
4th.
And Ken can put a surprise on everybody.
Yeah.
Because he's a grassroots man, and then the people also like him. So let's see what happens come 4th of November 2023. So the issue about running mate, I don't think even Alan will accept this. Because throughout his life, he's just aspiring to become the president.
Not the vice president.
No. But we should have been the vice president instead of Alan.
All right.
So, but
I'm grateful.
I heard the president say a lot of things about Garamsey.
Anyway, but we didn't do that one, so thank you very much. All right, that's how we wrap up this segment of the show. This is still the AM show. A lot of you have still been sending in your comment. Akrokari Junior Terror says, it is very unfortunate for Alan Cash to resign from the election. He only knows why he has done that. May God bless this decision. NPP is still NPP. Keep serving Ghana and beyond. Dominic Dansu says, break the 5, not the 8. NPP government, never. Okay. So thank you all of you for sending in your comment. Keep commenting. We'll be sharing that with the rest of the world. We'll be back. When we are back, we have a chat with Expert Pharmacy. There's a product that they have on the market. Stay with us for you to learn how that will be of benefit to you. We'll be back. All right, welcome back to the AM show. Time for us to talk about something that will be of interest to you and I, and it's coming from Expert Pharmacy. They have a product on the market called the Sedum Whitening Soap and Sedum Anti-Acne Soap. I mean, that will be of interest to all of you. I've been joined in the studio by the PRO of Expert Pharmacy, Doreen Ofori Ejapoma. Doreen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hope you're well.
I'm fine.
Okay. I'm good. So tell us about this product and what, I mean, there are two products, right? What they are used for.
So the two products are Sedum Whitening Soap and the Sedum Anti-Acne Soap. The Sedum Anti-Acne Soap is purposely for acne, and this is a general soap you can use for bathing. It has natural extracts like tocopherol, Dead Sea salt, glycerin, and water. And we have the active ingredient as Dead Sea salt, which is very good for the skin. It helps to smoothen and gives you a mirror-like skin. Yeah.
Okay. Now, once it's skin product, is it good for all skin types?
All skin types. Even children can use it. We don't have any harsh ingredients in it. We don't have any, there are some products you can give to kids. Okay. And there are some products that has been limited to just ladies. If you're a guy, you can use it. Ladies can use it as well.
Okay, this one. Even for people with sensitive skin?
Anybody. It's been FDA approved. Okay. And dermatologists have also approved it. So anybody at all can use our product.
How different are these products from all the other skin products on the market?
Yeah. As I said, this product is not made in Ghana. It's not as if somebody sat somewhere and did it. We brought it from Switzerland. And when it got to Ghana, FDA checked it and approved of it. And our ingredients are all herbal. Okay. We don't have any, chemical kind of thing in it. It's all herbal. Yeah.
There are people who don't know what acne is all about. So if I should use this soap, what are the visible difference that I'll see? Okay,
so when you take our product, the Sedum Whitening Soap, you see some white, brown patches in it. Okay. This is the exfoliating scrub you see in our soap. So when you use this one, there's no need to exfoliate your skin. Okay. And as a normal human being, once in a while, you have to exfoliate your skin. And
those of us
it takes off, dead cells from your face, oil deposits and all that from your face. So once you use our product, you are good to go. And this one is purposely for acne. Like if you have pimples, rashes and all that, you see some ladies, you see those dark, when you use this, everything will go. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you're saying that for sure that when I use it, I'll see visible 100%. Transformation.
Most of the times, people think that it's the lotion or the cream that clears, pimples and all that, but then if the soap you are using is not clearing the thing, it's like you're just doing polish on dirt, that kind of thing. So the soap you use to bath is very important. Yeah.
How expensive then will it be? Because like you're saying,
it's affordable.
Okay.
This goes for 60 cedis and that goes for 80 cedis. Okay. Yeah.
If I'm interested, where am I going to get some?
Oh, when you go to Tema, those in Tema can get it from Tema Top Up Pharmacy or branches. If you're in Kumasi, you get it at Silver Pharmacy. And if you're in Accra and you want to get some, when you go to Drug Lane, you ask for Dove Pharmacy or Jucard Pharmacy. I'll put a number here, so no matter where you are, you just call, we'll direct you to where you can get some in Ghana.
Yeah, so
So our number is 024-341-2951. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So is this your first product that you're bringing to the market?
This is what we are launching for now.
For now?
Yeah.
So this is the first time you're bringing this to the market, or is it already on the market?
We brought it early this year, but we are now launching it for everybody to know. It's already on the market, actually.
Okay.
You can get it in different pharmacies and cosmetic shops.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what has been the feedback that you've gotten?
Very good. Doctors recommend it. When you go to Kolebu, doctors recommend it. If you have skin problems, everybody, a lot of people know our product. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the Sedem whitening soap
and
then
the Sedem anti-acne soap. And most of the times when people hear the name whitening, they think it's for bleaching. The Sedem whitening soap is just the brand name. It doesn't bleach. I use it. It doesn't bleach. It doesn't tone your skin or anything. It gives you a mirror-like skin. If you are dark, it makes you glow. Okay. If you are fair, it makes you glow as well. So it doesn't tone or bleach, that kind of thing. No. It just treats your skin.
Okay. You're getting fans from someone. Someone by name Moses says the girl is fine.
Thank you.
I guess
that's how you said them.
Exactly. That's what I was coming to. Yeah. That is because you use the Sedem product.
Yeah.
So if you want your girl to be as fine as Ejapoma is, you have to go for Sedem, right?
Exactly.
I think you should be used for the advert. If you want to be as beautiful as I am, just go for Sedem.
Exactly.
Okay. So that is that. So before we leave this, what will be your final words to those who are watching us?
I would encourage our viewers to purchase our product because it's the best. You don't have to, waste money buying all kinds of expensive body lotions and cream just to get a perfect skin. All you need is Sedem whitening soap and Sedem anti-acne soap to treat your skin.
Do you have to use them together, or you can use?
It depends on what you are suffering from. If you have acne, you have to get this and get this as well.
Okay.
But then if you don't have any skin problem, you can use this because this one you can use it every day to bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have acne.
So
I'm only a dark person. I want it to glow.
You need Sedem whitening soap.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that is that for you. Do grab one of these products and then make sure that you are, letting your skin shine. And if you have acne, you're dealing with it with the Sedem anti-acne soap. I'm told that she mentioned the shops that you can get some. Just a wrap of the stores again, so that if someone just joins us.
If you're in Tema, you can get some from Tema Top Up Pharmacy. If you're in Kumasi, you get some from Silver Pharmacy. And when you come to Accra, you ask for that pharmacy at Drug Lane, Jukad Pharmacy, Kesumwa and Sons, and those in Takra, they can get some from Ebuakwa Pharmacy.
Oh, you didn't mention that at first. Ebuakwa Pharmacy.
Yeah, and if you're in Ashaiman, you get some at Ekus Pharma. That's why I said we have a lot of pharmacies that have our products, but then because of time, we can't mention all. So when you call, we'll direct you to where you can get some in Ghana.
Just put your number across for the last time.
024-341-2951.
Okay, all right then. Ejapoma, grateful for coming through.
Thank you, sir.
So try and get some of the product. I'm told it's 60 cedis each for
60 for the anti-acne and 80 for the
whitening.
Okay. Whitening soap.
All right then. So that's that for you. Doreen Ofori Ejapoma is the PR for Expert Pharmacy. They are the importers of this particular product. So we'll take a quick break. When we return, we have more for you here on the AM show. Do stay with us. All right, let's talk about Madam Cecilia Abena-Dapaah, former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, and the OSP, because the OSP, after saying that it has obeyed the ruling of the court to give back the monies that it seized from the residents of Madam Cecilia Abena-Dapaah and also unfreeze her account, the OSP released another statement to say that, well, I have seized the monies again and have frozen the account to help me conduct investigations into how those monies were gotten. We've been joined on the line by a former member of parliament and also a private legal practitioner, Mr. Inusa Foseni. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us.
How are you?
I'm good. Now, you've been a lawyer. You are a lawyer and you've been a member of parliament. You know how this law of the OSP was fashioned out. This strategy that the OSP is using, what do you make of it from the professional point of view? Is that something that the law, allows him to do?
So this is something we have encountered, or almost all legal practitioners have encountered in court, particularly in arrest situations where the arrested person is kept in jail for beyond the stipulated period of time that an accused person or a person arrested can be held in custody. When you go to court on the human habeas corpus application, the court might rule that person be released, and the police will leave the court and stand at the gate of the court, the entrance of the court. Immediately that the accused person comes out, he's rearrested and prosecuted. So it's almost the same. It's almost the same principle animating what the special prosecutor has done. I mean, we need to understand, Sam, that the fact that the court ordered the return of the seized property to the park was not because the court believes that the property is not tainted property, but because of procedural lapses that occurred, during the seizure. And so the Special Prosecutor's Office, being an office of a creature of statute, it has a duty to comply with the dictates and provisions of the statute. So non-compliance with procedures stipulated in the statute can result in what happened in court the last time he went to free the asset. And so what has happened is normal. It's normal practice. I mean, the money has not been washed out of the suspicion that it is money which is tainted by corruption or a corruption-related offense.
Okay.
It still has that character. And having that character means that the special prosecutor either can reseize the money or can freeze the bank account.
Okay. And how long can this be done?
Well, so he sees the cash, fiscal cash, pursuant to Section 38(1)A. And he or his authorized officer can do that. And so when that is done, he has 7 days within the date of the seizure to go to court to confirm the seizure. Now, with the freezing of the account under Section 38, he has within 21 days to confirm the freezing of the account.
Okay. But this is coming after the court had asked the office to unfreeze those accounts and hand them back to her.
So he's complied with that.
Okay.
So he unfreezed the account, he handed it over back to the Depa in the presence of his lawyers according to his statement, and then took possession, seized the fiscal assets, and then froze the bank account. So there's compliance with the court order.
So after the expiration of the days that the law permits the OSP to have the account in its possession, if it is still not able to conclude investigations, it does what? It again goes to court and then...
So there are two different procedures.
Okay.
Now, under the 32(1)A, if he confiscates the assets, if he seizes the cash, the assets, which he believes is tainted property, he has 7 days within which to go to court to confirm the seizure. And if he fails to prosecute that person within 3 months or so, he has to return the property.
Within 3 months?
Yes, I think it's 3 months. There's a period of time within which he must initiate proceedings criminal proceedings for the confiscation of the amount or for the establishment of the facts that that money is tainted money.
Well, but the court, ruled that if the OSP was in doubt about the true ownership of the alleged tainted property found in Mrs. Dape's house, and also failed to convince the court that the alleged tainted property were used in connection with a crime. The court is asking, how did the OSP arrive at the conclusion that the money is tainted when it's not even able to tell who is the owner of this property? Is that not a question the OSP needs to answer?
He's answered that question in his statement.
Okay.
What he says is that there are conflicting accounts. So that gives you an indication of the justification for the seizure. That during the investigations, Cecilia Dapa gave conflicting accounts of how she came by the money.
Once they have seized the properties again, what remedy does Cecilia Dapa have in terms of trying to retrieve those properties?
So she has to wait for 7 days, and if in 7 days nothing happens, he goes to court or wait the number of days provided in the law for prosecution to take place, and if that does not happen, he goes to court to demand the return of the property to her. So investigations cannot be torpedoed. You can't truncate intentionally investigations into a criminal conduct. The interest of the state is contaminated with the interest of individuals in this matter. And so individuals want to know where Cecilia Dapa got the money from. She must give reasonable, satisfactory, and convincing account of how she came in by the money. And there are many facets to it. If it is business that she did, you want to know what taxes she paid on the money. Because if you do business and obtain profit, you have to pay tax on the profit. So there are many facets to this matter. But what I'm saying is that where money of such quantum is found in the house of a politically exposed person, it raises a prima facie case that that money is tainted property. It's prima facie. Because Cecilia Dapa is deemed to know that the house is not a safe place to keep money. And so whatever considerations motivated her to keep such huge amounts of money in her house could be motivations that border on money laundering, concealment of the money. Okay? And so any investigator will start from that premise. And then the burden, according to the money laundering laws of this country and international best practices as provided by the Financial Action Task Force, the burden now shifts to her, evidential burden shifts to Cecilia Dapa to show where she got the money from and whether the money was from lawful sources. If she fails, the money will be confiscated to the state.
Very interesting. So it means what the OSP is doing is not playing legal gymnastics. He's only doing what the law mandates him to do.
It's not. So we have to give him the benefit of the doubt now, because one, it's consistent with practices in our courts and of the police or law enforcement agencies. Two, he is not going to sleep. In the case of Ajanem Boateng, we were worried that he made such a mistake. When he repeated same in Cecilia Dapa, we thought and believed that that was intentional and deliberate. A willful act to ensure that the accused person is not prosecuted and that the burden is not taken. But now that he's acted expeditiously, we have to give him the benefit of the doubt and watch the process closely. I don't think he will be forgiven if he repeats the mistakes of the past.
People do say that it looks like actions by the OSP are not quite expedited as we expected. Must people have that notion, or we must understand that that's how the legal processes work?
No, that's not. The way the law stipulates timelines within which to comply or to take certain actions, to comply with the provisions of the law, you have a duty to comply with the timeline. And so, and in particular, the explanation, the first letter issued by the special prosecutor explaining away his disagreement with the court on the basis of the fact that he searched many properties. And so the reckoning of time was wrong by the court, was, with the greatest respect to him, ill-informed. Because the law says that when an asset is seized, it's not when a search is conducted, it's when an asset is seized. You have 7 days to confirm the seizure of that asset. So if you search 100 houses, and in each house, you might not be able to search all the 100 houses in a day, but in each house, if you find tainted property, you have 7 days within which to go to court to confirm the tainted property. So we're talking about not expediting action. One can fault the special prosecutor for having to wait 3 weeks after the searches of the first were conducted in the first house, and conclude that since about 5 or so houses were involved, his appreciation of the period that time will run will start with the conclusion of the large search. And that brought him within the ambit of the law to go to court in 7 days to confirm the seizure. I disagree with him, and I think that he was also wrong. I think he's found that that's why this time he's turned around so fast to act. Now, the freezing order, when you freeze and you go to court within the time allowed by the law for the confirmation of the freezing order, you are enjoined to state in particular detail in your affidavit the grounds for the application for confirmation. So I hope that in going to court to confirm the seizure of the monies or volume of transactions or the freezing of the bank account of Ladapa in the various banks, the special prosecutor will not only tell us the lodgements into the account, when those lodgements were done and by whom, whether the lodgements were done during the time Ladapa was the Minister of State, what transactions occurred during that time, whether or not Ladapa was known to have any business aside working as a minister, and all those. So as to convince the court that from the circumstances, from all the circumstances taken together, there is a reasonable suspicion that that money is tainted property. But not just go to court with a blank sheet of paper and ask the court to write an order freezing the account. The court will not do that.
At this juncture, when Ghanaians want swift action, is it right for Parliament to come in here and probably have another public inquiry into all of the matter, or we should allow the OSP to do its work?
So we should not stampede the OSP. I mean, I speak from the background of the fact that I was I was part of the leadership of the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs of Committee of Parliament when we passed the law. We had to travel to various jurisdictions to understand and appreciate how the law works, how their laws work, and import best practices from those jurisdictions to inform our laws. We also had to negotiate the fine contours of Article 88 of the Constitution to give the special prosecutor operational, financial independence and autonomy. In fact, we even insulated him against manipulation by his board. Because being a public office, there is a requirement for the establishment of a board which will spell out general policy for the office. And if you look at the functions of the board, it was carefully circumscribed in order not to influence the special prosecutor in the performance of the duty. So we do not have to stampede him. Let's see how he handled the case and whether we were justified after all in creating that office. And he was a lecturer at the University of Ghana. I have known him for some time. I think that he knows what to do. And I believe that having suffered 2 setbacks in the case of Ajanem Boateng and the bar number 1, in this still the bar number 2, he will take all the necessary remedial steps to ensure that the intent of the statute or the law is realized.
All right. Grateful to you, Honorable, for joining us here. Thanks.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Honorable Yunusa Fuseni is a former member of Parliament for Tamale Central and is a private legal practitioner as well, helping us out with the OSP Cecilia Dapar case there. Now, you can join us with your thoughts as well. Would be glad to hear from you on the issues that we've been discussing here. Again, if you go onto Facebook and you leave your thought on our feed, we'll pick it and share that with the rest of our viewers. So that's it. What do you make of Alan Kyerematen's resignation, as well as the OSP and Cecilia Dapar matter? Just give us a call now. We'll activate the phone line so that you can call us 0302169121, and then we can be picking your thought. But they say water is life, and because water is life, you need to take into awake, purified drinking water. It's been purified under strict hygienic conditions. And so if you're going for water, go for awake, for proper moisturizing of your body. Remember, there are sizes that can fit into your pocket, one that can fit into your bag, and even one that is made for the office. So go grab one and moisturize the system. Remember that for every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount is donated to the Cardiothoracic Center of Kolebu to support in the payment of for surgeries done for some people. So that's what is called One for Life. So if you buy Awake purified drinking water, you are contributing to the payment of surgeries for some unfortunate people. So why not go grab Awake, to moisturize your body and help some other people too. Well, this is the AM show. We'll bring you more here on the show, so do stay with us here on the AM show.